Hello! In today's video, we'll be going along to a research conference.
So I don't know if I'll be able to get a shot of the cam, so this is the closest to OOTD.
It's a little OOTD. I'm really excited. It is a conference for students interested in science and research, and I'll be sharing with you some lessons I learned alongside with the tips and messages from the guest speakers. It was amazing. The theme for this year's iRISE conference was defining your destiny, and we started with a little intro.
By increasing the representation of Black doctors and healthcare professionals. Our vision and goal is to connect and educate those interested and involved in healthcare and related professions. We also hope to integrate topics on medicine and health leadership and conversations about diversity and health inequities in the context of healthcare delivery and research. So our core values are community, excellence, empowerment, and health leadership. And because this is our 5th anniversary, we do want to give a special acknowledgement to the BATMAC founders, Sonia and Kayon. They started this club back in 2016. And then here we have our faculty advisor, Dr. Juliette Daniel. She is a legend here at McMaster. She's a Barbadian-born biology professor and cancer researcher at the university. And then I just want to quickly take the time to introduce our BATMAC team. So my name is Anu, and I am this year's president. We have Abby, who is the vice president. We have a poem, and then we'll get into the day. So out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the felt clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. He is additionally the co-founder of Doctors for Defunding the Police and Doctors for Long-Term Care Justice, which has made Semir an expert correspondent for the Toronto Star, CBC, and other news.
Generation chance. So some of the work that I've been able to get involved in, again with Canadian doctors for protection against guns, anything, right? Being a physician isn't the only thing that lets you do this work, right? Just being involved in the community, using whatever resources you have to help people around you can do a lot more. So with Taibu Community Health Center, I don't know if a lot of you know, Taibu is a CHC, so Community Health Center in the east end of Toronto that is specifically focused on Black health, education, poverty, the things that affect those immigrant communities specifically. And a lot of the times, this was an event, the man there is Lee Bang, to the left, and he's the director. The work was going on in the community. We have these community groups where we're trying to raise funds for, trying to work with people who are suffering the most, trying to do the work on the ground. And a lot of these times, these politicians, people like Sarah Jerry, who are still a little bit high up, will come down and use it a little bit as PR, right? They'll use these things to work for their own community, not having the communities a whole carceral system, things like that, right? So I think what we were focused on was, if you want to know the truth, I think I've spoken with you like 3 or 4 times at this point. I don't think he's listening at any of them. So, I think a lot of the point being is we need to find systems and find allies and colleagues, because even when that was happening, I was networking with the other people, making connections with them, and making stronger connections with the community at large. So I think, to me, the politicians are not going to listen, they're going to play their game, but we have to be very solid with our ethics when we're focused.
Any other questions? Yes.
As a psychiatrist,
I love that question. That's a very good question. It's hard. It's very hard. I'm going to be very honest with you. My partner is also in the back. She's also a resident in palliative care, and we talk all the time at night just about how, just even yesterday, I'll bring up the story of what we saw. There was a young Black HIV positive patient, not even over 30 years old, and he suffers from addiction, has been kicked out of his house, all this stuff is going on. And he uses crystal meth because he's homeless, and he sleeps in his car, he needs to be awake to be able to work and do the things he needs to do. And when he left the office, the addictions office where we were working, there was just like a sad feeling that like this might be the last time we see him, because we didn't address any of the issues that we need. Like, he needs housing, he needs help. But the system that we have now it's ridiculous. So yeah, there's moral hazard, right? Every day I see somebody who I know is going through something that we could have stopped, or we could have intervened much earlier, or we could have changed some trajectory of their life. But we have to deal with it, right? I just feel that if we have the capability and the capacity to try to deal with this stuff, we really should try.
The ideal health system that you see is one that is more preventative. So what methods do you say could be put in place to develop this more preventative health system?
That is a very good question. Right? I think there's many options, many paths. I think a lot of the times when we look at our system, we assume this is the only system. Right? We don't look outside of our borders and see what other people have done. A lot of the stuff, a lot of the work, a lot of the stuff that I read or try to focus on is trying to see how other communities have done different things better with the system, or what aspects we could take. So for example, a lot of the times for mental health cases or people who are suffering from mental health, if there's a crisis or we think it's suicidal, something's happening, or homicide, they get put on a Form 1. Form 1 means a police officer is going to bring them to the hospital. And if I told you the amount of times things got escalated or something happened due to this effect, it's unbelievable, right? We have so many stories of DeAndre Campbell being shot when he called the police on himself. We just purchasing that cat, or their mental health crisis on. There's more that are happening currently. They just keep happening. But to be positive, there's a lot of work that we're able to do. We formed the 211 number, so instead of 911, there's a separate dispatch line in Toronto, where there are groups, so Thai group would be the one on the east side, we have Everything Crisis Center downtown, it's the Canadian Mental Health Facility up north, where now they have these crisis call facilities, where they will actually go out, and these people go, there's people who are focused on mental health, knowing these conditions, and focus on dealing with these people now, and then addressing them with housing or supports, other words, as they have them. So to me, a lot of these issues, a lot of these things that we have, I don't think the issue to solve them is as hard as we think it is, right? It really is with just being a little more creative with how we address these things, because we're spending a lot of money dealing with these issues a lot of the times. If I showed you, we do the billing, I see a lot of the back end. If I told you like an ICU stay for a person who caught COVID, was homeless, we had a patient, I think he was there for 3 months, cost something like $350,000, something ridiculous, right? And if we got that person social housing and got him in a situation that didn't allow him to catch all those illnesses and get so susceptible to being ill and being sick, we could easily spend $10,000 to $50,000 a year. $20,000 is the average that we have for social supportive housing for the entire year. So to me, I think that we're completely missing the point where we put a lot of our money, a lot of our effort, a lot of our time. And if we really reimagine that to be a little more, okay, where did this start? How people affected with the dollars that we have a much better system.
She came on this shit, she's like, do you know Kayla? And I'm like, yeah.
Where he has taken his purpose of helping individuals with a rehabilitative domain. In 2020, she obtained her Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Biology through the co-op stream from McMaster University.
Right now, start thinking about what your non-negotiables in life are. And again, that extends to your personal life, to your academic life, like what do you want to? A lot of you are here, I'm assuming, because you're thinking about medicine or something in healthcare. So orient yourselves in a way that will allow you to pursue your goals, and just make sure that you're using your time wisely, because undergrad will fly. It will fly. Like, I was here for 5 years and boy did it fly. So just make sure that you're spending time where you need to spend time, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't like have fun, because I think self-care, having fun, that's a great use of your time. Just make sure that you're prioritizing what you need to prioritize, and you're setting yourself up for success.
If you guys want to know how time flies, at least it was like 10 when they out there, you like see it, and we were like sleeping together. You might see it, like, obviously this is kind of crazy, like it wasn't for a moment. But one thing I want to like really point out is like I'm embracing that discomfort. Like talking back to our first speaker, like I really believe that embracing that discomfort, like that you see on the daily, like you may not see this discomfort, but the thing that you kind of shy away from, the thing that you have on the back of your mind, but you let it sit there, that thing that you know you should be doing, but you don't. Like on the other side of that is like a whole like plethora of like something that you can gain from. So I really believe that from my undergrad, like for example, like my first year of university, I came to school thinking that oh, I need to get the best marks ever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to class, go back to my room, go to class, go back to my room, and I'm going to do that for my whole 4 years here. That's going to be the best thing I can do for myself. But really, that was just me shying away from stepping on my comfort zone and getting involved and kind of getting myself out there and kind of seeing what's out there on the Mac campus. And second year and beyond, I really took my foot out there, and I really was able to branch out, and it was like tenfold better. And I realized that maybe I wasn't trying to focus on school, maybe I was just shying away from opportunities out there. And it was beyond that discomfort. So I really, once again, just taking that, embracing that discomfort.
Okay, so I'm currently going to the next session. It has been so amazing and informative. Here's my bag. It's been so amazing and so informative. Like, I feel so inspired, but like not just high-flying inspired, like intentional, direct ones. And with each section, one thing I tried to do was to like make an action step that I could take to, you know, implement and stuff. And I challenged myself to go speak to the speakers. They're all so nice, and collect emails, and which I'm gonna try to like, you know, follow up with. They all like said we can send them questions and stuff. So it's been really like informative. I really appreciate the exposure and just the knowledge, like the people that get the struggle, but also like, you know, they get the struggle and you're doing their thing and you're pushing through, and we get access to that. It's really been amazing and I appreciate it.
Your payment history that's making sure that you're paying your bills on time. So every month you will have your billing date. It can be the 10th, 11th, but it will be the same day every month. So if it's on the 10th in January, it would also be the 10th in February. So we use a credit card as an example. You want to make sure that you're paying your bills at that date. Anything outside of that date, you do get what? Interest. So in terms of the credit score, you can decide to pay your full balance, or you can decide to pay your minimum balance. Paying your minimum balance keeps your credit score at the same level. No balance, of course, drops your credit score, but paying the full balance that you owe actually helps you to build your credit. So not only are you saving on interest, because if you carry balance over, then there's interest, right? But you're also helping to build credit history when you pay your payments on time and when you do the full payment. Then for a line of credit in the future, you're taking that whole debt capacity. Okay, you do have 5,000 in credit card debt that you have accessible to it. And the reason they take that into consideration is because tomorrow you can decide to go shopping and spend the whole 5,000 again, right? So if you have it, even if there's no balance, it adds to your total debt capacity. So making sure you don't have too many accounts open is also another way to help you build your credit score.
Using our hand sanitizer. Look, they have Bat Mark on it. It's like so cute. So branded. Love it for y'all. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ooh. Look, mine doesn't have potatoes. I'm glad.
I'm gonna appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just.
If you want to try to get these tools, I'm not working for Amazon. You can order everything from Amazon and it's very cheap. You can try here on a pad, or if you like something more natural, you can get to, that's what medical student told me, go to Nations and get Nation Foods and get pig's feet, 2 of them for $1.50, and practice on them. It looks more natural. Or get a sponge from dollar store and cut it and practice on it. So the cutting will be used for skin, the round one will be used for deeper structure. This is a needle holder, or we also call it what else do we call this? Driver, needle driver. Which is non-absorbable, so you use this for the skin. You can also use nylon or proline. See how I'm holding the needle by the holder and I'm locking it. 90-degree angle. Lock. How do I open it? Just lift it. Okay. Let's hold the needle. We'll do a simple interrupted suture. Go from one side to the other side, let go, pull through, close to the end. Next, you don't have to be very close, you can do it far. Clockwise once, twice. Grab the tip, lock, pull through. Wow, done. Not yet. Pull through. One more, same as you did in the beginning. At the beginning. That's it. Hold both ends. Cut. We call this simple interrupted suture. Any questions?
Wait. How fast do you go?
It has to be faster than this. The patient is under general anesthesia.
Yeah.
So let's say no, you are in the emergency and someone came with a cut. Yes, you can use local anesthetic. And the way we inject, we can use the same as the dentists use, that little gel, place it here, and then stick a needle at one corner, go all the way to the end, and then when you pull it, you inject. You don't pull the needle out, you go to the opposite side, and then you slowly pull and inject.
You said to take it out. Oh, okay, then yeah. You do that and then grab the tip. This is so breaking weeks.
Oh, yeah, I think it's broken. And because this is not sticking. Clockwise. 1, 2. Grab this. And then pull through.
And then
One more. Number 2. Yes, exactly. 1 loop.
She said number 1. We did.
Semir is dedicated to providing the highest quality of care to his patients. In his free time, Dr. Berry enjoys reading, playing chess, and enjoys spending time with his family, including one of our own exec members and our manager.
For one thing, not to say that I was settled there, but I knew that if I'm
This verse that says, from Proverbs 31:8-9, it says, speak up for those who have no voice, where the justice of all who are dispossessed, speak up for judge righteously and defend the cause of the oppressed and the needy. I think this verse captures what it means to be an advocate, and that is someone who is proactively considering the needs of others. So for some, this could be people in your community who are vulnerable, who are marginalized, but proactively considering.
How have you gone about advocating in situations where the person in the wrong or the person that needed to be corrected was somebody who was in a position of like much greater authority, especially in the context of healthcare where there are actual really bad repercussions when that type of stuff's done.
Thank you very much. That's a good question. I think there's a really inherent power dynamic in medicine, but even in institutions too. If you're advocating for a cause and you're students and you're up against the institution, so that is real. And I think I always start with the power that I do have in terms of what is around me, because I think there's a power imbalance. If I'm a student and I want to speak up against student mistreatment that's happening in the hospital, there's obviously a power imbalance and fear of professors and preceptors and things like that. But I think that I would try to start from
where that imbalance is, what power do I actually have in terms of like, who am I connected to, what resources do I have to kind of leverage a bit more power, I guess. Because I think depending on the cause, and I guess the context specifically, I would want to know like, would I have access to address that imbalance? Because I think from my understanding, your question is if they're in a position of power against you who are trying to like advocate for something.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So again, like, I think it's a really good question that I don't think I have like a very clear answer to, but just in thinking through, it's like, what power do I have first and foremost? Like, are there resources and means within my own means to help me get started? And and I think that not being like being truthful to the fact that like there is that imbalance is step one, is actually identifying like if this is the imbalance that exists, like, you know, how do I tilt the balance back?
Doctors, nurses, physician scientists, chiropractors, and more.
We hope that through the testimonial, life trips, lessons learned, and jokes shared today, that the fire to find and define your destiny burns stronger, brighter, and longer.
And remember, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. You are the master of your fate, and you are the captain of your soul.
A quarter.
Of what?
Coin.
To throw in there?
Yeah. Love.
I hope that they came back and
I like jump in and pick it, right?
No, just like their masters and because imagine having your coin and they reject you. I'm coming back for my children. I would do
Oh my god, this is so stunning.
It was a 10 out of 10 experience. It was always good to be around Black excellence and be inspired to curate our best world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment your favorite part in the comments below.